Welcome to Reread. We're on book 4 of the Young Jedi Knight series. This one's called Lightsabers. Fearing the Empire, Luke instructs the younglings, his young Jedi Knights, that they need to start working on making their lightsabers. So everyone's making their lightsaber. I don't remember where Lobaka gets his jewel. Of course, Jason uses, Jaina forges her own, which I thought was kind of wild. Jason uses the gem, the Korsaka gem. I got to write the name again. But the gem he got back at Gem Diver Station, you knew that was, well, I remember that's what he was going to use for his lightsaber. And Tenel goes into a volcano to grab some crystals, but they're not perfect, and sometimes some of them are cloudy, some are chipped. And but she decided they're good enough because she's falling behind on making her lightsaber. Of course, this is the great scene where her lightsaber sputters out while sparring with Jason Solo. And of course, Jason is trying to push through, doesn't realize her lightsaber is sputtering out. She doesn't either, and so it sputters out and chops off her arm, or the bottom half of her arm. This was a big shocking moment. You're like, did they just maim a character, a little girl? Kevin J. Anderson would later say that this was his favorite book in the entire Young Jedi Knight series because he got permission to do this. He wanted to do it. He wanted there to be consequences, and he got what he wanted. It's some great stuff. There's some great scenes. This is where Jason's feeling racked with guilt over what he did to Tenel. They're eventually going to find out her heritage, that she's of the royal court of Hapes, because that's where she is whisked away, and they don't know. They think she's from Dothamir. You know, and that's kind of true, but Luke, out of respect for Tenel, has been keeping that a secret from the rest of her friends. Well, now he decides, you know what, screw it, they need to know. So they do find out. This is where they spend time on Hapes. Someone is trying to kill them. There are some good scenes. Tone, basically, before they leave to Hapes, Tone teaches them some lightsaber skills, puts them down, and tells them a story of Nomi Sunrider from Tales of the Jedi, which was a lot of fun. Of course, Kevin J. Anderson gave a nod to Tom Veitch's story, who he had a lot of respect for. And then after that, Jason has some, introspective thoughts about himself, about what's going on, about what he did, what he needs, how he needs to say he's sorry to Tenel. When he finally meets her, he does apologize. She laughs for the first time because she realizes that she likes Jason too. And there's some scenes in there where he's giving her hand a squeeze on something, and later on, another chapter, she gives his hand a squeeze too. So you can see a budding relationship forming. And this is great, especially now that we know what's going to happen to him in New Joe Order. I can see it's not just, Kevin Jenner didn't just say, lightsabers is my favorite because I got to maim someone. He really liked that he got to build a relationship, and it feels like you took time on this too. Now, someone who hasn't had hardly any time is Zek. Zek is making his way through the academy, learning the dark arts through Brakis, getting stronger and stronger. He's given this nice leather suit like Darth Vader. He's given a red lightsaber like Darth Vader. And he's learning more things through the Force, channeling the dark side. But he's still not over to the dark side yet. Like, he still feels that Jason and Jaina are his friends. And, he doesn't know what to do right now, but he knows he likes this power. So he's not totally corrupt. Until he has a battle with the second top student in the class. And this is the 0G battle that I talked about in my first review, where he eventually just slices the person in half. And it's weird because then Zek goes, wait, this isn't practice? No, you knew it was to the death. Brakis said it was to the death. But I guess they're just trying to say that Zeke is still torn. Now, I kind of wish that would have been, oh, and by the way, the holoprojector of the Emperor comes and proclaims him his darkest night. Get it? Night, K with a K. Yeah, kind of cheesy, but when you know the ending of this story arc, it kind of all makes sense. At the same time, though, I wish they would have had more of you could have seen Zek slowly losing his way, from the light into the dark. But it wasn't like that. It's a little bit muddled, a little bit different. Like, he knows what he's doing is wrong, but he wants this power. He wants to accomplish something in his life. and he still feels that Jason and Jaina are his friends. And it's such a wild conflict here. But anyway, I'll get back to him next time. Someone is trying to kill Tenoka and her friends. They're trying to find out who. I knew immediately who it was, and they don't waste time figuring it out. I think that after the second missed attempt, they realize immediately it's the ambassador, which I was of Hapes, which I was really shocked, because usually that's something you know, Scooby-Doo at the moment reveal who it was at the very end. But they revealed midway through the book who they knew it had to be. And I was like, oh, that's a little different. Now, whether Kevin J. Anderson didn't do that on purpose, I don't know. But it was different, you know, not to say that, because it was obvious it was the ambassador. And I guess the young Jedi Knights found out that too. But anyway, this is where you see Bartok Assassins. This is their first publication-wise. We've seen them chronologically in the Episode 1 adventure books for kids, because Dave Wolverton would use them again. Because they're insects, and you can chop off their legs, their arms, their head, but they'll still try to finish off the job and try to assassinate you. So the kids are, of course, dismembering tons of bugs, tons of insects. Oddly enough, Troy Denning really loved this book. But in the end, they come out saving the grandmother of Hapes and the rest of them too, which would come in later on in New Jedi Order, if anyone remembers. And at the end, her grandmother is trying to get Tenoka to wear this tiara, a crown. And as she's about to leave to go back to the Jedi Academy, she sees the tiara and goes, smashes it onto the ground, and then takes one of the little gems for her lightsaber, which is turquoise green, which I thought was fun too. And then, of course, it ends with them all holding their lightsabers up in the sky. It's fun. It's a fun book. Again, these Young Jedi Knights books, I understand why people love them so much. I mean, I love them because it's Kevin J. Anderson, but the average person really didn't know who Kevin J. Anderson is or doesn't like their stuff. They do appreciate the Young Jedi Knights books, and you can tell why. All right, folks, that's it for now. See you next time.